This is RTV6 News at 7, working for you.
I don't want anything to happen and to be connected to the memory of Dre John Reed, because he was a peacemaker. He was.
A message from the family of Dre John Reed, the man shot and killed by Metro Police less than 1 week ago. They are asking for calm and patience as they continue to gather all of the facts surrounding the shooting. Thank you for joining us. I'm Amanda Starantino.
And I'm Mark Mullins. Tonight, Indianapolis officials are also laying out a plan for increased transparency. Both announcements come in response to outrage over the shooting, which followed a pursuit on the north side Wednesday night. Police say Reed got out of his car to run away and at some point fired at the officers. They attempted to tase him and then fired back. Reed's family and their attorneys say they are willing to wait to gather all the information surrounding the shooting.
And amid the tension, IMPD says it's working to increase transparency through a number of measures, including body cameras. Officers will start wearing them as early as this summer. The cameras will feature automatic recording. IMPD is also creating a use of force review board made up of officers and community members. The group will determine if uses of force are justified. IMPD also announced they have been working on an updated use of force policy for the past 2 years. The department's General Orders Committee will review the policy in the next 30 days.
Time now for a first look at the Storm Team 6 forecast. And a lot of people are looking forward to the time that we can begin to feel a warm-up here in the month of May. Meteorologist Kyle Mounts keeping an eye on the temperatures.
Yeah, Mark, it has felt a lot more like March so far this month, but things are about to change for the better. It's going to get a lot warmer out there today. Not bad. We're just kind of stair-stepping here a little bit. We made it into the upper 50s, even 60 degrees officially for the high in Indianapolis. Now that wind is out of the southwest between about 5 and 10 miles per hour, that's going to start to help us out here. You can see some lower 60s in Greencastle and Martinsville, even Muncie coming in at 60 right now. Satellite and radar, we've got a lot more in the way of clear skies over the northern half of the state. The rain that's near the Ohio River now, that will be staying there as we go through tonight. So if you are going to be out taking that walk this evening or maybe grilling tonight, we've got those temperatures in the middle 50s right on through 9 o'clock, a mix of clouds and some clear sky. But we've got one more cool night coming our way. Then we're getting closer to that big warm-up, and in fact, we could see some highs approaching 80 degrees. That also comes with a more unsettled pattern. We'll talk about the return of rain and storm chances in your 7-day forecast.
And since the pandemic began, Governor Holcomb and state leaders have held daily virtual briefings on Indiana's fight against COVID-19. But beginning this week, those briefings will take place every other day instead of daily. The State Department of Health is still providing daily updates to Indiana's coronavirus data. More than 1,400 people have died and more than 25,000 positive cases have been identified. Indiana's testing rate continues to go up. It's now at more than 150,000. That has led to a decrease in the rate of positive cases, now at 16.7%. And as researchers continue to study the coronavirus, we are learning more about how it's identified and how it affects different people. RTV6's Kelsey Anderson introduces you to a woman who was so sick she was admitted to the hospital, but doctors could not confirm she had COVID-19 until she was fully recovered.
Jenny LeBaum spent 2 nights in the hospital with pneumonia. This was in early March, and she was tested for COVID-19. But those test results came back negative, and it wasn't until 7.5 weeks later when she got the antibody test that she realized she, in fact, did have the coronavirus. Her symptoms started out with chills, body aches, fatigue. She thought she had the flu, but after a swab, doctors confirmed it wasn't that. A week later, LeBaum went back to the doctor because her symptoms had gotten worse, and they said she had pneumonia and sent her home with an antibiotic. Eventually, she was admitted to the hospital where her biggest fear was catching the coronavirus. But they tested her for that, and again, those test results came back inconclusive. But her doctor still had a feeling it was more than just pneumonia.
And once the antibody test became available in Indiana, my doctor ordered it right away, and that came back in probably less than a day, and it was positive, which kind of was no surprise, but also still a shock because I was like, wow, I was really sick.
LaBombe tells me she feels guilty now that she knows she had the coronavirus and wasn't taking extra precautions. She's sending emails to anyone she was in contact with from the week before she was sick to a week after. Her husband and her 2 kids also took the antibody test, and to their surprise, their results came back negative. LaBombe tells me she does plan on donating plasma to help others fight off the virus. I'm Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Hiring Hoosiers is committed to helping you find career opportunities that are still available as the pandemic continues. If seeing the work of first responders during these days of a global emergency has lit a fire for you to be a rescuer, now is the perfect time to make a move. The coronavirus pandemic is not stopping the Indianapolis Fire Department from moving forward filling slots, but it is giving applicants some extra time to get in on becoming Indy's bravest. Thanks to stay-at-home orders and social distancing restrictions, the department has extended the deadline to May 15th to apply for the new recruit class, which begins in 2021.
So there's a written test, a big standardized test at the beginning. You then narrow down to an interview. The interview process, probably the most important and that pivotal moment of where you go next. Then you have a physical test and then a mental, are you ready to do this kind of test after that.
Every phase of the hiring process, you have to have done your research, you have to be prepared, and you have to be willing to put in the work to do as best as you can.
Starting salary is $51,000 for the first year and goes up from there. If you'd like to read more and apply, go to hiringhoosiers.com.
The Rebound Indiana is showing you how groups are stepping up to help Hoosier families in need. And today, the Salvation Army, Midwest Food Bank, and the National Guard packed 5,000 boxes of food at Lucas Oil Stadium. The boxes are filled with shelf-stable items designed to help families feeling the financial impacts of coronavirus shutdowns.
We're working harder than ever to make sure that there is no Hoosier that will go hungry during this pandemic. And we can't do that alone, and we need your support.
The food boxes are being shipped to food banks across the state. For a list of free food resources in your community, head to theindychannel.com/rebound.
This week, restaurants across Indiana are allowed to reopen under Stage 2 of the governor's plan, the Back on Track plan, as it's called. The Canby Sports Bar, just over the Marion County line, is among the establishments that welcomed back customers Monday night. The owners of Heavy's Bar and Grill say the coronavirus pandemic almost ran them out of business. They tell RTV6's Cameron Riddle they are counting on the community to keep the doors open.
For the first time in 2 months, Heavy's Bar and Grill is filled with customers.
It's honestly just been very busy. A lot of people in and out, a lot of people for lunch.
While Heavy's pulled in a full crowd of loyal customers excited to be back at the Canby Sports Bar, the staff is still taking the threat of coronavirus seriously. Inside, each table is socially distant.
Measured them all last night with a tape measure. They're all exactly 6 feet apart. We have up to 6 people. They have to be sitting down. Everybody's been abiding by the rules. So far, a lot better than what we thought.
Employees are wearing masks even if their customers aren't. But Heavy's will also keep serving Hoosiers that aren't quite ready to dine inside with their party packs to go. The adult beverage kit has been a popular carryout item, providing the essentials for a stay-at-home party. Kyle Malat says if not for the idea, Heavy's would have closed weeks ago.
Our sales have really kind of bumped up a little bit. Obviously, it's not what we're used to with not having customers in, but the party packs definitely kind of bumped us up on our sales and gave us some breathing room, if you want to call it that.
In phase 2 of Indiana's reopening plans, restaurants can now welcome customers inside at 50% capacity. That's good news for the sports bar that is now counting on the community to make up for 2 months of very slow business.
If this would have continued on till July, I don't know if we would have made it till July. We would have tried our best. We would have fought tooth and nail. That's one of my mom's biggest things. She'd never give up until the very end. But we're just happy to be open and to see everybody is the main thing.
In Canby, Cameron Riddle, RTV6.
And a reminder tonight, this phase of Stage 2 does not apply to Marion County, where stay-at-home restrictions are still in full effect until at least Friday.
Still ahead on the news at 7, the search for a COVID-19 vaccine has exposed international tension, and the race is similar to one we've seen before.
Home experts at theindychannel.com. This is RTV6 News at 7, working for you.
Many experts say developing a vaccine is key to moving our country and the world forward. Alicia Nieves shows you why the race to find a vaccine is similar to another race we've been in before.
In the middle of the 20th century, we saw the world focus in on the space race.
It came in peace for all mankind.
Some would say right now, the world is focused on another important race, one for the COVID-19 vaccine.
What we have is a race between the U.S. and China in some respects. This has become, in recent weeks, a strategic confrontation, a strategic competition.
Stephen Morrison is with the Center for Strategic and International Studies. He directs its Global Health Policy Division.
Right now, there's about 90 vaccine candidates that are in development. 7 of the 90 are now in active field trials. 4 are in China. 3 are outside of China.
While most of the world has joined together in a pact to collaborate on a vaccine, the 2 most powerful countries in the world are working independently. China has its scientists working in Wuhan, in Beijing, and the White House announcing recently the U.S.'s own initiative called Operation Warp Speed.
I don't think it's surprising that governments, the most powerful governments in particular, are saying, this is too important to us to leave in the hands of others.
The country that develops a vaccine could have an added bonus of undoing the economic downturn in its respective country faster, since a vaccine could be monetized.
The problem, though, is that we have to have some form of collaboration. The go-it-alone logic doesn't work in terms of the scientific enterprise of developing a vaccine.
The added problem in this race is the difference of what is at stake this time around.
Power and prestige was a factor in the space race. Today, in the midst of this crisis, the open question is, will China emerge stronger and more hegemonic? Will the United States be able to rebound and recover? The notion that you can come up with a narrow solution that's grounded in the sovereign interests of a single country doesn't speak to the gravity and scope of this crisis.
I'm Alicia Nieves reporting.
Coming up here on RTV6, an historic Muncie bar still can't reopen, but owners and supporters are working hard to make sure it's around for generations to come.
Finally, we have some warmer temperatures to talk about. In fact, we're looking at a stretch of above average warmth. We'll talk about when we'll climb close to 80 degrees. You're watching RTV6 News at 7.
Pension.org/St. Vincent Hart.
A Delaware County business, which is not clear to reopen yet, is working to stick around after more than 50 years in the community. Mark III Tap Room is Indiana's oldest gay bar. It's a Muncie staple with a lot of history. RTV6's Cornelius Hawker explains what managers are doing to make sure their doors stay open and how they're getting help from the community.
Natasha Martz knows keeping Mark III Tap Room open is important.
Since 1968, so It means it's bigger than all of us. It means so much.
Pictures from over the years show the sense of community the bar has created in its 50-plus years, turning strangers into friends. But all that stopped once this pandemic hit.
Our last day of business was actually March 7th.
In the 2 months since they closed, Natasha and those who work for her have had to get creative.
The entertainers, they worked on a show and had a quarantine cabaret. It was a virtual show. We have our COVID-19 relief fund.
The relief fund is far from its $25,000 goal, but Natasha wants people to know they're going to make things work, thanks in big part to their landlord, Michael Wolf, who's not forcing them to pay rent while their bar is closed.
He is an amazing guy. He is very involved in the community. I feel very lucky. We are blessed to be in the spot that we are in. And have Michael involved.
But to be clear, there are still other expenses that have to be paid. That's why Natasha says those who follow them online will see posts about fundraisers like this one from Tribune showprint posters and events like the Quarantine Cabaret, giving folks a chance to continue giving back to a place that's given so much over the years to those who've walked through their doors.
The community have just really stepped up and helped us, and it's, thank you is not enough.
Working for you, Cornelius Hawker, RTV6.
Well, Natasha tells RTV6 she knows she'll be able to reopen in June like other bars under the reopening plan, but she's keeping an eye on things because she wants everyone, her staff and her customers, to be as safe as possible.
We are heading in the right direction as far as those temperatures go. Today, we made it around 60 degrees, and those temperatures are about 5 to 15 degrees warmer than this time yesterday, and we're going to continue to build on that. Right now, it's 59 in downtown, 61 for you in Kokomo, and 58 in Bloomington. With a little bit of sunshine, you've had some clouds throughout the afternoon, and tonight we'll drop back most areas into the 40s. Still, we can't rule out some of that patchy frost around Peru, into Marion, Indiana, and Hartford City as well. We'll find those numbers around 39 degrees early Wednesday morning in the Richmond area. So here's a look at TrueCast, and you can see northeastern spots. That's where we're going to see a little more in the way of some of that clearing, more cloud cover to the southwest, and eventually, as we go through the day on Wednesday, those clouds could lead to a couple of showers around Bedford, Seymour, possibly into the Bloomington area, but the rain chance is very low, only about 20% here, even as we go into our Wednesday evening. So clouds around, that's going to again hold our temperatures only around 60 for that afternoon high. Average high is in the lower 70s, so we're not quite getting there just yet. Temperature will make it to around 60 in Noblesville and Columbus for your Wednesday afternoon. Notice it's a little warmer to the north, where I think we may see a little more sunshine, but we really build on that here as we go toward the second half of the week. Temperatures will make their way to 77 for that high on Thursday, lower 70s Friday, and close to 80 degrees for the upcoming weekend. Sounds pretty good, but we also have the chance for some showers and thunderstorms. A little more active weather pattern is coming our way. This is as we get into the day on Thursday. You can see around Lafayette, Crawfordsville, even into Hendricks County there right now. There is a marginal threat. Some of those storms could have some gusty winds, maybe some hail with them as well. So we'll continue to watch that. And as we go through the upcoming weekend, we could see 1 to possibly 3 inches of rainfall across parts of central Indiana. Good news is we haven't had a lot of rain lately, so the ground is fairly dry. Shouldn't give us too much in the way of flooding issues, but with that chance for multiple thunderstorms, again, that's something we'll keep an eye on for you. Here we go through the next 7 days of our forecast. Temperatures after that 60-degree high will be in the 70s through the rest of that forecast. Chance for a few showers and storms again for the weekend, but I think we'll have some dry time in the mix as well. We'll dry things out, and we're going to hold on to the warmth going into next week with highs in the 70s. The news at 7 continues right after this.
Working for you. Right now on RTV6, a real pick-me-up for central Indiana, flying high above the skyline. The Navy's Blue Angels made this flyover today. They're making tours of cities across the nation to honor workers on the front lines of the fight against COVID-19. All 6 FA-CD Hornet aircraft took part in an 11-minute flight over the city this afternoon, a show of support for healthcare workers and other first responders.
The pandemic has changed the way we do a lot of things these days, and apparently that includes our use of emojis. There's a group called Emojipedia, and they track emoji trends on Twitter. Not surprisingly, they notice more people are using the emoji wearing a face mask and the germ emoji. But one they've seen the biggest increase is the prayer hands emoji. They say that people are using it for everything from thanking healthcare workers to showing their happiness for finding toilet paper at the store.
Well, we are finding some warmer temperatures in the 7-day forecast. That's after a high of 60 tomorrow. We'll be at 77 on Thursday. Again, a chance for a few showers and thunderstorms, a little more widespread as we go into our Friday. Could have a couple of strong storms in the mix as well. We'll notice that trend continuing into the upcoming weekend before we dry out into early next week. High temperatures still looking pretty good there, as we'll be in the lower to middle 70s.
Thank you, Kyle, and thank you for making RTV6 your choice for news. Our next newscast is tonight at 11. We'll leave you with this look live at the canal at the playground. A beautiful evening to be outside.